I
there
lived in a single-family home, beautiful home. I loved it. My husband was in Vietnam, and I had my first child, and we were able to get an apartment down Germantown, down the project on Taffrail Road. And we stayed there for like 10 years, and then we moved back to House Neck, rented a house, and then we bought a house in House Neck, and we were there for 30 years. And then my husband became ill, and that was it. And I just couldn't afford it any longer. And physically, I wouldn't have been able to maintain it. Realistically, I look at it now, I wouldn't have been able to maintain it. So I waited, and I get in here to Pignano Towers, and it's a huge adjustment, huge, because I've always lived in a single family home, really. And, but it's been great. I feel safe here, I think is huge, the fact that I feel safe, that I'm not someplace by myself, all alone, fending for myself. You know, I can lock that door at night and lay my head down and go to sleep and not worry if somebody's breaking in or anything like that. Plus, you know, my other kids live around here, my daughters live around here, my other grandkids, so I get to spend time with them, and you know, they'll come over and we'll meet and everything, or go out to eat, so that's great, you know. But not everybody in Quincy has this opportunity. I see a lot of elderly. We were going to talk about affordable housing. You know, property taxes are going up, and they're not matching income, because I think life expectancy is going up as well. So the money you have, you've got to make last that much longer, and they're just struggling trying to do it. And families are trying to help one another, but there's only so much you can do. So they start, you know, they sell their house, but where do they move to? Further down south. They're not staying in Quincy, and I think that's so sad.
Yeah, Quincy's a very tight-knit community. I mean, you see a lot of generational families living here.
I mean,
people
even
want to
down House Neck, where I grew up and everything. I mean, I still have brothers and sisters and cousins and everything. My sister lives in my family home, her and her husband and 3 children. It's beautiful, but people that moved out, they can't afford to move back in. They're outpriced.
It's sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know there's about there's room for about 900 people in the Quincy Housing Authority for people in buildings like Pagnano, but there's a huge waiting list. I mean, there's thousands of people on it. Yeah. So did you tell me about your experience? Did you get right in, or did you?
No. What had happened was they didn't realize I was the widow of a veteran, and once that was brought to light, then I didn't have any problems. It took me a little over 2 years, but I know there are people here 6 years, 7 years, they were waiting, you know, to get in here. Meanwhile, they were living in circumstances that a room, you know, in a boarding house type thing, and, you know, some of them were younger. Some of the women I remember in particular, you know, you hear so many stories here. And that's what I like listening to, is the stories from people.